Hey, welcome back. This is another episode of DwayneRoss.com for Thieves of Personal Wealth. So as you see in front of you is the form W4. If you don't have your form, then you're going to need to go back to irs.gov and go ahead and get your form filled out. And then let's talk about what I told you I would do a couple of days ago. I said that I would come back and share with you how to give yourself a raise, and we'll talk specifically about this particular stuff that you may have seen, and I'm not sure how much you are aware of, but I just want to make sure you have all the information. Now, pardon me, I'm trying to just get this in the right position here so that you can see what you need to see in reference to that board. And I had it set up to where you can actually see the bottom right there. All right, so welcome to my studio, my little area that I utilize right now for giving you information. How you doing? Dwayne Ross from DwayneRoss.com. Hope everything's going well with you and your family. Again, DwayneRoss.com, DwayneRoss. And in this episode, again, I just want to remind you I'm the author of the book, No More Crumbs from the Table. Hope that you reach out and get that book. It's in an update right now, so there will be some added information for those that get the most recent. That's gone through a couple revisions. But anyway, let's talk about these thieves. One of them, again, we talked about was taxation. And, you know, the lack of knowledge. A lot of people struggle because they just don't understand how it all works. So hopefully this will impact you in a positive way and show you how you can take advantage of this form. Now, a lot of people can print this form out, again, at irs.gov. I told you earlier, I'm not going to give you any information that you can't go back and verify. This is not my thoughts. It's not just my thinking. It's actually information that I believe can impact your life, right? So, let's talk about this. The purpose of the form. Right here on the form, it tells you that the purpose is so that your employer will withhold the correct amount of taxes. It's specifically telling you that it's just so they can withhold the right amount. But some people, the right amount could change because during the year you might have a situation, right? So it also tells you that you should fill this form out annually, and if you have a change in your financial situation for your family. So it actually tells you to be aware of this change and make an adjustment. So it also tells you here about exemptions, and in this section of the form you can see that it'll say if you're 65 and older, you get exemptions if you're this and that, and then it quietly tells you right here that you actually can adjust it or have itemized deductions. We're going to talk about how you get that, because see, most people are easy form people. They've been filling out their taxes, doing the easy form, fill it out, blam, 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 turn it in, blam, work, blam, wait for their, beautiful check that comes every year after tax season, right? So they're used to taking the standard deduction. Standard deduction for this year actually is up to $3,900 per item. So if you got 4 checks over there, you just take this number times 4. You pretty much know about how much deductions you can have, per person. So here's the deal. That number could be a very small number when you think about it, because after you get all the things done, you find out that all you get is maybe $6,000, $7,000, right? But what if your expenses was way above that? See, business people think a little bit different. Because see, in the business world, remember I told you the W-2 world, you pay taxes in advance, right off the top, off your gross, and you get what's left over. Well, in a business, if you step on the other side of that equation, you have your expenses, you have your living, Then you have what's left over, and then you pay your taxes on that. That's why it's so interesting that somebody could pay 4% tax. Somebody else could pay 10% tax as a business owner. But then the regular, struggling, working single parent is out there paying, 30-something%. And a lot of single parents don't understand how that works because they're living with their boyfriend, girlfriend. They're not really qualified married. And one of them should be the head of the household. And they're not taking advantage of this form either. So it gives you some real specific steps. Or they'll talk to each other and say, well, I'll take a deduction for Sally and you don't. And so through the year, one of them is getting way less than what they should, and the other one is doing, the basics what most people do. When both of them should be taking a deduction for Sally, because it's only based on the allowances that they have for the year before they actually file. Filing is totally different. And so, again, here's a disclaimer. I'm not an IRS agent. I don't claim to be. I don't work for the IRS. What I am is a trainer and speaker and author. And I actually have dealt with an issue with the IRS when I lost my business after I went through a lot with my divorce and lost just about everything, including myself, and had to rebuild my life. And in doing so, I had to really get out there and find out better ways that I could participate in the American dream and actually, possibly keep some more money in my pocket. Because, I don't know about you, but it was difficult living at 45% of my income because 55% was taken right off the top. The IRS took theirs, child support took theirs, FICA and all those other people. And by the end of the day, I had 45% left over. And then you're still talking about buying a car and paying on, your living and where you live and all that kind of stuff. And I chose not to live in certain places, so therefore I paid a little bit more, right? But I had a little bit less in my pocket. It's so interesting because people thought I was like balling when I was just trying to restart and get myself back together. But anyway, here's the deal. Correct amount. See, if you're on one side, W-2, taking your standard, you're good. But what's going to happen is, what about all this other stuff you do through the day? See, this form allows you to set yourself up where now, instead of getting, say, 4 deductions, you might have 6 or 7 or 8. It all depends on when you do the math. A lot of people don't flip the form over. This is the second side of the form. And if you downloaded the form, you could look at it. And it tells you on here about how to go about, the math. And most people say, I don't like math. I don't like math. So they won't do it. But when you do it, you'll find out, wait a minute, I get 1, 2, I got 3 more deductions over here that I can put on line H. So instead of having 3 here, I might have 3 here. By the time I finish, I got 6. Right? So you got to look at that. And then if you're in a double household where you have second earner and, you have second income or second job, you want to use this chart and use the information here. And you might find you have 2, 3, 1, 2, whatever it is. You're adding it to what you have. And next thing you know, you got 5, 6, 7. Okay? Now, of course, you can go with 0 and 1 and say, I don't want them to take all my money. Let them take it and have an interest-free loan on your behalf. You can do that, right? But the reality is you shouldn't. Because if you do that all your life, you're going to wind up one day getting to a point where you go, wow, I don't even have nothing to really show for this. Because you haven't taken any of it to invest. You haven't taken it to pay off your bills, get debt-free, and live debt-free and things of that nature and use cash, right? And of course, we all know that if cash disappears, it's going to change the whole landscape. But right now, it's still there. All right, so you got the standard deduction. But here are some of the things that you could think about, that this form helps you out. Number 1, okay, what if I'm driving my car? So I get off work. Well, actually, I wake up early and I decide I'm going to go to the gym. And I roll over to the gym. And while I'm at the gym, I'm on a treadmill. And I'm working out or whatever. And I see Joe. Right? And me and Joe have a quick conversation. And I say, yeah, And he's like, yeah, my job sucks, you know, this and this and that. I need to make more money. I think about getting a second job. And you say to him, well, you know, I'm part of the extra digit movement where I'm helping people understand their finances by taking care of three things. You know, understanding, first of all, taxation, understand how to get out of debt, and then taking the money that they save from taxation and debt and actually put it into some kind of financial success principles so that they can invest and have more money at the end of their life instead of, you know, wondering what they're going to do when they get to retirement. Because right now, if you study, you'll find out there's thousands of people right now that can't retire who are over 65. You don't want to get to 60 and still don't have this together. So he says, fine, cool, dandy. So you finish in the gym, you roll over and get you some breakfast. Now you get to work, you get home, you shower up, get ready, go back to work. You go to work, and while you're in the hallway, you run into, you know, Sally, and Sally's like telling you the story about the weekend, blah, blah, blah. And you find out that her boyfriend just lost his job, and she don't know what she's going to do. Well, that was an event. And if she didn't know about this, the first thing she could do is actually go into that HR department, get this form, fill it out, flip it over, look at the situation and say, hey, she might be in a position to have a raise right now. So that on her next paycheck, these deductions and things come into play. And now she has a little bit of money coming in to help since he lost his job. Okay? And then let's say that, you know, you also tell her the same thing you told Joe. And she says, yeah, I'm interested. He said, well, good. I'm having a little workshop. It's free. All you got to do is show up. And, you know, I can show you how to participate in this. And she says, okay. And she decides that at that moment, understand that this could be a business transaction. So now you ride home and you park in your driveway. Well, guess what? All the mileage from the time you left to the time you came back, because you were doing business or you were pursuing a profit in a business structure, allows you to do itemized deductions. And when you do itemized deductions, now your car, part of your car note goes into that. Part of your clothing, because maybe you put some clothes in the dry cleaning, all right? Or you had to buy a certain thing. Cell phone, right? Part of your cell phone. Traveling. Maybe you had to travel out of the area, go on a nice vacation, but while you were there, you talked to 2 or 3 people, and you held a meeting or so. You know, you had to do something business, of course. There's some strategies for that. Meals, okay? Talk about that. Not the whole meal, but a percentage of it. Entertainment, things like that. Maybe you want to go to a football game, and you're like, man, that's gonna be $2,000. Well, cool, because $2,000, you taking your client, y'all have a good time, but you talking about business. You come on back home. Now that's a tax deduction, right? A business expense. Internet, percentage of meals, training and education. Maybe you had some software you had to purchase. Maybe you had, you know, some kind of class you had to take. Okay, all that stuff is possible deductions. Okay, and then again, you get your startup costs because, of course, you had to get going and get up and rolling and learn how to have your different things. Like, you know, did you have a cell phone? Did you have a camera? Did you have this? Did you have that? All this kind of stuff. Whiteboard, you know, magnets, all this stuff, dry eraser. All that stuff is tax deductible, right? Because it's a business expense for you to educate people and do business. And see, I'm a trainer, so a couple of years ago, I was just doing this stuff for free and not really even thinking about switching it over to the business side. And someone said, well, you know, that's something that you could be doing. Even though you do it for free, there's a way for you to recoup some of that money. But you don't have to be like, you know, it's like a for-profit, but I'm a low-level for-profit because, again, I'm protecting my income, again, from going back and forth to court, child support and all that stuff. I have to be very careful about what I do and how I do it. So now I know. I didn't know that before, but I've been educated. And then associated costs, you know. Maybe there's some specialized equipment. Maybe there's something that I have to do. You know, maybe it's getting these T-shirts printed out. I'm not sure. Whatever it is. Maybe somebody doing some work on my website or consulting. I might have to sit with a consultant, you know. I actually did sit with a consultant. I was telling him, hey, I found this company, and I said, I need a coach for myself. Even though I'm coaching others on, human services, I still need one to keep me on track and help me. And last year, I took on, a couple of sessions with a coach that said, hey, here's some things that you're not doing. But if you did, it would generate and help you improve. So anyway, this was step one. Step two, I can't remember what step we're in right now. Actually, it was step 1 of 4 when I said that I would come back to you and break this whole W4 thing down. So I have a lot more to go over. We're going to talk about what's on the top of this form. One other thing I want to invite you to understand is right here. It says, tear off this right here for your record. Give the employer this bottom fourth or the bottom half. Okay. Most people give them the whole form. They don't even know their worksheet. They don't know none of this stuff. They have to go to their office and look at it. Right? And a lot of companies only give you one side. They don't even give you the back side. They give you this side right here. You fill it out, turn it in, go about your business. But I invite you, I implore you, if you haven't done it in the last year or two, go check your form out. Look at what's going on in your family. Do you have a grandson, somebody you're responsible for that's now living with you? That kind of stuff. Check it out and look at your deductions. It tells you what to enter, what to subtract, what to add, what to divide, all that kind of stuff. And if you wanted to know what the actual deduction sheets are, there's actually one at the irs.gov. Again, you just put in standard deduction. They even have a little test that you can take where it'll ask you some questions and it'll tell you what your standard deduction that you qualify for. If you qualify for head of household, it's $8,900 a year. Oh, that sounds like a lot of money. But when you talk about child care expenses and all these other expenses and things of that nature, if you can find a way to get your expense column under the itemized deductions and have it related to what you do as far as business is concerned, you have a good possibility of saving more money. So anyway, this is Dwayne Ross from DwayneRoss.com. Again, I want to invite you to leave a comment. Every post, I invite you to like it and leave a comment, because liking it does really well for me, but comments help me, kind of structure what else I'm going to talk about. I want to say what's up to Joel Roman, Joel Roman. If I say your name wrong, please excuse me. But gentleman, awesome. He's somewhere on my Facebook page. If you guys haven't seen his one-man show, I want you to check him out. Awesome gentleman, Christian artist, and currently right now he's making some moves in the industry. I want to invite you also to check out Felicia, Bo Artist. She is a editor. She was actually the first person that edited my book. So if you see her name somewhere around in the Facebook world, click on her. She can help you out with your editing of your book. And there's a number of other people. There's a young lady named Miss Ross, who people think she's my sister or she's my wife or something like that, but she's just someone that I met. But she's one of my Facebook friends, and she's an author as well, has a lot of dynamic information out there. So, connect with these people, because I'm getting comments about people trying to do different things. And so one of them was the author. Now, I can help you set up your book, get your things going. But, I just did a workshop at the Writers Workshop, and that was awesome, right? Telling people exactly how to get it from the canvas of their imagination into manifestation, because that's what we're about. And then, of course, if I didn't shout you out, I'm sure you may not have made a post, but a comment in a posting recently. But I will take some time to check on you and let people know about your things that you're doing, because I want to shout you out as well. Francina Harrison, awesome young lady. If you haven't checked her out, you just go to her page, and Francina is just awesome, doing some things down in the Virginia Beach area. Really, really high powered, connected. If you're over on the West Coast, Miss Wright, she's over there. You can look for her. She has Wright TV, Dr. Wright. Again, these people are really, really doing some things out in this space. And again, for me and you, leave a post, leave a comment at the post, and I'll see you on the next post. Remember, Joshua 1:8 says, this book of the law should not depart out of thy mouth, but you should meditate on it day and night and observe to do everything written therein. For then you should make your way prosperous and have good success. This is D. Ross from DwayneRoss.com, DWayneRoss. And I'll see you on the next post. God bless you. Have a good day. Have a great week. See you.